Here we go, guys. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and we are live on Sunday, December 28th, as we're wrapping up the year here, guys. We got some critical things to be talking about, so make sure as you guys are all rolling in, make sure you guys are tapping those likes, especially if you're on TikTok. Tap those likes, fill up those like meters. If you're over on YouTube, X, wherever you're at, make sure you're subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and smashing those likes as well, guys. So the topic on everybody's mind right now isn't so much about altcoins, but silver. Silver and gold have been on a massive blast off. And everybody in the chat right now, I'm already getting chat. Do you have any silver? Guys, we need to talk about silver because this is going to be a very critical situation for 2026. So let's jump right into it. Let's get silver right out of the gate, and then we'll go into Bitcoin. We'll cover some altcoins as well. So if you guys want some altcoins, make sure you're dropping altcoins into the chat. You want some gold or any stocks as well, make sure you're dropping it all into the chat. We are expanding here on the show and in the Crypto Citadel, my private trading community, into stock trading as well, stock and commodities like silver and gold. So that being said, what is happening with silver? Silver is blasting off, right? Silver has reached, where is my silver chart? Silver has reached $79, right? On its way, blasting off to our next big target of 82. Beyond that, we have $87.50 for silver. But look at this parabolic rise, guys. Look at this parabolic rise. Look at this. Does this look normal to you? Some people say, yeah, absolutely. The price has been suppressed for so many years, for so many decades. Let's go take a look at this chart, my friends. Let's go and zoom out to the 3-month. To the 3 months chart here. This chart is the entire history, since back in the 60s, 50s, all the history of silver. And if you're on TikTok and you can't see the screen, go on over to the tubes where you can find me, Blockchain Crusader. Guys, so overall, look at these two parabolic rises. We had a parabolic rise back in the 70s going into the 80s. And what happened in the year 1980, we peaked at $49, and then we slowly started dropping for decades until we found a bottom around the year 1993. That's right. 13 years later, we fully bottomed for silver. Silver from there, from 93, has slowly went sideways for the grand majority all the way to 2003. From 2003, right, which was 10 years later, sideways consolidation pretty much. We started pumping back up slowly over the years, and we topped out once again in 2011 around $45, and then we spent many years again dropping towards the bottom from 2011 to 2020, right? So 9 years to find its next bottom. Right now, obviously in the last 2 years, 3 years, we have been blasting off from $17 that we were at in 2022 to currently sitting at $80, blowing past its previous two major peaks to the upside for silver. And as we're coming into another macro gold pocket around $89.76, definitely something to be keeping an eye on, right? We need to be very, very aware here that these type of parabolic rises, meanwhile, they do last a few years, right? Like the last one we got was 2001 all the way to 2011, about a 10-year slow movement of parabolic rise to the upside. And what were we facing during that time? Inflation, all these other things, the real estate housing market crashing in 2008, right? We need to realize that since 2020, we have been pumping. So we're going into our 6th year of straight up parabolic price action for silver. Be very careful here. Why do I say this? Crusader, silver is just going to keep going to $100, $150. Maybe we hit $150. Maybe we hit $100 silver, right? But last night, I was at a get-together at a friend Christmas party, right? And people that do not ever talk about investing, don't ever talk about crypto, stocks, nothing, were coming up to me and asking me, Hey, man, what do you think about that silver and gold? Do you think I should be buying some? That is number one key instinct when the average person that has zero investing strategies, is financially illiterate, doesn't really spend any time investing actively ever, is coming up and asking about, should I be buying some silver now? Excited about silver, meaning that they're hearing about silver's massive rally. That is the time to start putting up the red flags, right? Time to be putting up the red flags. It's the same thing in crypto. When your Uber driver is talking to you about meme coins and about this altcoin or that altcoin, time to put up the red flags and start asking some questions here like, hey, this doesn't make sense for the average person to be getting in on this right now or talking about it. If they are, it's because it's gone mainstream, right? So if you missed out on silver, don't panic. There will be pullbacks. There will be retracements. There will be opportunities for trades, for some shorts, for some longs. Am I buying spot silver right now? Absolutely not. Am I going out and buying physical silver? Absolutely not. Very simple, guys. But first, make sure you guys are keep tapping those likes over here on TikTok, guys. You guys are slacking on the likes. Make sure you're tapping that finger for the next 5 seconds. Tap it as fast as you can, and let's get 5,000 likes over here. So what's going on, Kimberly? 68, yeah, $68 for a pullback for silver is absolutely possible. So if we go look at this other silver chart here and just look at the daily, right, we have lots of targets for silver to the downside. First big target around $68.57. Below that, 66 to 65. We start falling back into the November range, and we got targets all the way down as low as $59 to $57 for silver. Now, like I was saying, are there opportunities to go to take a small long, right, for some more momentum? Yes. Some shorts? Yes. But am I going out and physically buying silver? Because that's the big question. A lot of people are going out and running to stores, to pawn shops, to whatever there is to be buying physical silver and physical gold. But guys, it is too late. You're too late to the party. These people are selling you the physical silver at premium prices. There's always a little bit of a premium price on the silver. And when you sell it back to them or you sell it physically, they're always buying it at a discount. They're not going to buy it at flat rate, right? There's always a few percentage, 2 to 3, maybe 5% discount rate that they're looking to buy it at, right? So that they can have some profit margins on the silver. So I am not, somebody was asking about the silver. I am not going out and physically buying any silver or gold. Am I looking for potential trade setups in the crypto citadel for silver and gold? Yes, I will take a trade on it. I'll get in, get out, make my money, and that's it. But I am not running out and buying physical silver and gold. Can gold and silver go higher? Absolutely. Do I think gold is going to hit 5,000 plus? Yes. It's currently sitting somewhere, at 4,500. So can it pump another $500 to $1,000? Absolutely. Can silver pump another $20 to $50? Absolutely. But that just does not make sense to physically go buy it and run it. There's just too much risk there, guys. Look at these parabolic moves, right? These massive, massive rallies. Everybody is super fixated on the commodities of silver and gold right now. And when everyone is following a trend, that is when I have to put up the red flags and say, no, I'm not going to go in and buy some silver now. I'm not going to go in and buy some gold. Oh, but, Fulano and Pepito are saying that it's going to go to $150. Congratulations. You can trade it. You can trade it. You don't have to go physically buy it. There's a lot less risk. You can get in and out of your trade a lot faster, a lot more liquid than buying and selling it physically and running through all these issues with premiums and discounts that is going to mess you up. So do not financial advice, but I am not running out and buying silver or gold. The fact that everyone is on top of silver and gold right now, just going full mainstream, it is a major red flag. Another thing to talk about when it comes to silver, right? Right now, there's a whole supply squeeze with China talking about starting in January. In 2026, they're going to be having a major restriction on exporting silver, right? We know that silver is used for critical things like EV batteries. Let's see, or I have a whole image over here to depict to you guys. Obviously, this is oh no, this is something else. Where are we? Where are we? Yeah, silver pumping. Silver's up over 168%. I'm not buying silver. Look, here's another perfect picture right here. 1979. Look at this massive peak for silver. 2011, massive peak for silver, major dump. Another massive rally here. Am I going to be buying this massive pump? No, guys, I don't chase FOMO. I don't chase pumps. That is how you get wrecked in this space. That's how you get wrecked as an investor, as a trader. I'm not doing that. Now, let me see if I can find the image I was talking about, showing you all the breakdowns, right? So this is one image here, right? Electronics use a lot of gold and silver. Electric vehicles, gold and silver. Green technology like solar panels and give or take and, all this stuff, silver. Medical technology, medicines, healthcare stuff, they also use silver, right? So there's a lot of things happening here that is going to increase everyday goods if silver keeps increasing as rapidly as it is. So they're going to have to do something about reducing the price of silver. If not, things are going to get out of control when it comes to the manufacturing side of using silver in technology and in everyday items that are, they consume very large amounts. Now, Tucker over here brings a very good point, right? Tucker is saying, he's connecting the dots, saying that countries are moving away from the dollar. Our national debt is exploding. The dollar is being used as diplomatic weapon, and confidence in our financial system is collapsing. That's absolutely true. That's why we got into crypto and Bitcoin in the first place, right? Because we knew and we saw what they're doing to the U.S. dollar, printing 80% of U.S. dollars during the first 4 years of the pandemic, right? During the pandemic, all that happened, and they massively printed over 80% or about 80% of all circulating dollars right now. And we've seen it time and time again that they can only kick the can down the road for so long, and people are moving away from the US dollar being the reserve asset. Every single currency that has ever existed in mankind has failed and has gone to zero for these exact same reasons, for manipulation of the currency, for printing and inflation and inflating the currency until it is worthless. So now we're in a very different situation where we don't have any other major country, geopolitical power that is coming to rise rapidly to take over and bringing their asset, their currency with them. All the other fiat currencies are just as bad as the US dollar. So something needs to change. Something needs to change. The movement away from fiat is occurring, right? They're accumulating silver. They're accumulating Bitcoin. They're accumulating gold. They're accumulating hard assets as much as they can to potentially, I think, there are many countries that are going to start backing those currencies with a basket of assets, oil, gold, silver, Bitcoin, right? And using these assets to back their currency, because backless currencies like right now, like fiat, that is backed by nothing, just the goodwill of the government, makes absolutely no sense, and it is crushing the financial systems and all the countries around in the global economical system. So silver, Tucker over here talking about silver is essential for countless industrial processes, from solar panels to EV electronics, like I mentioned earlier. And now China is tightening their exports to add pressure to an already strained market, right? There's already been a very small supply of silver. Why is there a small supply of silver? Is it because it's hard to find? No, it's because just like the diamond industry, right? Diamonds aren't really worth much of anything. But there's a small amount of major corporations. There's like 4 or 5 of them that control the entire diamond industry, and they control the flow of diamonds into the market, and they are able to regulate the prices of diamonds. When diamonds get too expensive, they put a little bit more diamonds into the market, bring the prices back to keep people buying diamonds and thinking that they're buying things that are valuable. when reality is it's not as valuable as people think. Gold and silver have experienced similar situations where they are being constrained and, how some people are saying, manipulated and suppressed for many years because they are controlling the flow of gold and silver onto the market, right? How much gold and silver is being mined and actually extracted and processed is controlled, therefore holding the prices at a way more stable price action, which allows industries, right, to use it in their everyday technologies and obviously helps them, yada yada. But for people that are investors in gold that are trying to preserve their wealth in gold, because nobody's trying to generate wealth with gold. Gold and silver are wealth preservation assets. They're not wealth generating assets, right? That's a big difference between Bitcoin and gold and silver, even though you can debate that on Bitcoin nowadays, since Bitcoin has gone up as high as it has in the previous 2 years. So that being said, we need to be very careful here with silver and gold. People are going very bananas, right? Gold and silver is entering the banana zone, and people are thinking that this is the best time to be buying and that it's going to go up forever. And nothing goes up forever, guys. Everything has a pullback. Everything pulls back at some point in time, and you do not want to be buying a top. Because like I showed you earlier on the silver chart, right? When these tops do happen, zoom out here to the 3-month again. When these tops happen, we spend many years. The last top in the 80s, right? We topped out in the 80s around $47. We didn't bottom until 93, 13 years later, without another all-time high. So if you bought silver in 1980, you didn't break even until 2011. 2011, 30 years later. 30 years later. Put that into perspective. So people that bought silver in 2011 at $40 have not been able to break even until just recently, last week, when we broke up above $40 again. How long did that take? That took from 2011 all the way to 2025. That took like 13 to 14 years to be able to break even again. And that means that once we top out for silver here once again and we make a new top, we are going to be dropping potentially for another 10 to 20 years, right? 10 plus years of straight to the downside. You don't want to be buying the top of this thing. You do not want to be buying the top of this thing. Prosper with Joel says, what kind of trading do you do? I do a lot of day trading, my friends. I do a lot of day trading. I get in, I get out. We do some swing trading here and there for longer term assets, but realistically, my bread and butter is day trading. That's what we focus on in the Crypto Citadel, getting into a trade in the morning, being done around 11 to 12 p.m. Eastern time. We're done trading. One good trade and we're done. That's all we need. We get one good trade. We make $300, $400, and we're done for the day. We're done for the day. I don't need to be over trading, making $1,000 a day, trading 50 different assets, 50 different trade setups. None of that. No, we look for the best possible trade, and we take that trade mostly on Bitcoin. We do cover setups for gold, silver, and other things like that. Really depends on the requests that are coming from the members in the group. But meanwhile, nobody's requesting anything wild. We just focus on Bitcoin. It's the fastest, most volatile asset that we can use for a quick day trade and scalp out $200 to $400 in an easy hour-long trade, and we're done for the day. So if you haven't joined the Crypto Citadel already, I definitely urge you to do so. I just dropped another 30 minutes of content for the trading course. Right, so if you come on over here to, where is it? Where is my, right, come right over here to the trading strategy, right? Just dropped in another 5 videos, another extra 30 minutes of content for everything you need to get up to speed with the Crypto Citadel and how we're trading in there. And if you guys want to get a glimpse, want to get a trial of figuring out how this is really worth it or not to you guys, I am hosting a free webinar on January 4th. That's the first Sunday of the new year. First Sunday of the new year. You come on over here, you click the free webinar, and you sign up. You enter your first name and you enter your email, and you will get the link and access. So in 6 days, in 22 hours, 19 minutes, and 36 seconds, on January 4th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be going live. I will be going live on this exclusive webinar for only the people that sign up, and going through an hour-long webinar explaining to you very basic charting analysis for anybody that wants to just figure out, like, what is this trading course all about? How do I even get started? How should I join the Crypto Citadel? Is it worth it? Is it not? You're going to be getting an hour-long free content. You get to ask all the questions you want during that time of the webinar and figure out, is this for you or not, right? And if you're willing to commit to dedicate yourself to learning how to chart. Because if you're not learning how to chart, guys, you are setting yourself up to fail as an investor. Not just because of, I want you all to become day traders. It's not about becoming day traders and quitting your 9 to 5 and getting rich overnight. It's not about that. It's about learning how to read a chart so that when you look at things like silver right now, you're like, hey, look at this chart. Does this make sense for me to be buying right now at these all-time highs, after these major rallies, after these major dumps? No, I'm going to look for some key levels. I'm going to be looking for some key pullbacks. So then you go look at this other silver chart, right? And you'll say, oh, wait a minute. We got some key targets down here at $68 all the way down to $59. If we start having a pullback around into this area, then I would be more interested in potentially taking a long on silver. Oh, we start reaching $82 to $87. I'm potentially looking for a short there. Those are 1-to-1 fib extension targets that I'm looking for a potential short to have a small little pullback, maybe towards that $68 to $59 price point, right? And you're not buying FOMO. You're not buying fear. You're not hyper dependent on all these other content creators promising you the moon and back and how great everything is. And, oh, yeah, no, you can do it for yourself. I'm trying to teach you so you can do it for yourself, guys. Do it for yourself. Let's jump here into the chat real quick. Eddie Parker says, join the Citadel. Awesome community. Eddie Parker, a true OG of the Crypto Citadel. Definitely. How can I learn more? Prosper with Joe. If you want to learn how to get involved, go to the link in my profile. And if you can't find it there, send me a DM on TikTok. I'll walk you through it. But if you go over here, see my link tree, you'll see the free webinar 101. Click on there and you can sign up for the webinar yourself and be ready. If you can't find the link, just send me a DM and I'll send you the link through DMs. And I'll help you walk you through it. So let's go here. Do you think bull run alt season comes in 2026? So guys, all right, let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin here. So realistically, looking at Bitcoin here, let's actually jump into a different Bitcoin chart. So Bitcoin over here has made a nice little bottom area. It looks like we're bottoming out here, right? We're looking at the weekly chart here, right? We're looking at these weekly candles. Every candle here is a week-long time frame. What did we do when we bottomed out in May, or I should say in August of 2024? We had a 33% drop, and we spent a few weeks going sideways before we started climbing back up, had another rally at the end of 2024, right? November, December. Then we started to crash in the beginning of Q1 of 2025, and we spent a few weeks going sideways here until we hit April and we started slowly climbing back up. Now, we've had another 36% pullback. So this is our third 30% plus pullback. Completely healthy, completely fine, still making structurally higher lows, right? We have this low back in August of 2024 of 48,000. We have the low from April of 2025 down at 74,000, and now our new low is around 80,600, 80,500, and we are slowly going sideways. So unless we drop and break this market structure, which we can, right, and there are targets to the downside. We'll cover that in just a bit, right? If we do start going sideways here, and this is the new bottom, right? We are bottoming out here. we are setting ourselves up for a potential push back into the 100K region. Now, there's a lot of debate. There's a lot of different ways you can see this. So let's jump back into the other Bitcoin chart so we can know what I'm talking about here. The new yearly range is developing above us, right? It's developing above us, meaning that if we're below it, we have a very good chance that if we get back into it, we rotate it to the upside. So if we get back above 96,000, we do have a gold pocket at 97 to 98, so we need to be careful with that. But if we can get back above 96 and hold above 96 for Bitcoin, the new yearly naked point of control is developing around 104,000. Let's call it 105 just to be simple, right? It's 104.7, but let's call it 105. And we've got a massive cluster of targets between 107 to 112, 114 area. All these little yellow lines, big cluster of targets all set up there, right? And if we rotate this full range, which we normally do, as you guys can see here, we fell out of it in March of 2025 when we got back into the yearly range. We rotated it all the way to the upside, yada, yada, right? We're potentially pushing for a setup for 2026 to push above 126, right? I'm not going to be giving out here price predictions of where we could be going. There's definitely targets between 136 to about 150 that we're looking at. But overall, right, if we come back up and get rejected, right, the debate comes in here. Whereas if we either go back up to 96 or even up to 105 and we get rejected, we hit 105 to 96,000 and get rejected, fall back out of this yearly range that is developing up here, right, in 2025, as we fall out of it in 2026, if we come and take the low of April 2025, our targets to the downside are between 73 to 57,000. 73 definitely not even going to be a contender for a new bottom. That's going to be just like a target point on the way down. The real bottom targets are going to be somewhere between 67 to 57 to start. Right? That would put us back into the 2024 yearly range. And if we fall into this range, there's a good chance we might rotate all the way to the downside. If we do, the downside, the value area low for that yearly range is down at 48,000. Down at 48,000. So that is a possibility. If that situation occurs, kiss your altcoins goodbye. Your altcoins are going to get crushed. Now, the debate continues here. Why? Because gold, silver, S&P 500, stock market, all pushing for new all-time highs constantly. Bitcoin, like I showed you, potentially forming a bottom here in a very structurally sound, safe, not safe, but a very structurally healthy situation here, potentially building a bottom around this 80,600. So if this is the bottom and silver, gold, S&P 500 stock market is going to continue rallying into 2026, I don't see a world where Bitcoin spends all of 2026 continuously crashing while the rest of the global markets are pushing for all-time highs. That just doesn't make any sense to me. That makes zero sense. So if the rest of the market is going to continue pumping, I do believe that there's a very good chance that the debate here leans more bullish than bearish for Bitcoin, that we're potentially building a bottom and we could be rallying for a new all-time high in Bitcoin in 2026. Now, if silver, gold, S&P 500, everything begins to crash and Bitcoin is still sitting down at 87,000 or barely getting above that 96 to 105 area and the whole global market starts pulling back, then there could be the very strong scenario that we get that rejection from Bitcoin that I warned you about at that 96 to 105 area, because a lot of people are going to get very bullish. Once Bitcoin starts getting back above 100, people are going to be extremely bullish. We're back, baby. We're back, right? And that could be a massive bull trap. So we need to be very aware of this, of these situations. When it comes to trading, when it comes to analysis, it's not, things are not written in absolutes. Things are written in if and, if else situations. If this, then this. If this, then this, right? So if everything crashes as Bitcoin is trying to get past that 96 to 105, that could send Bitcoin down to get that, set up that bull trap and push everything down towards that $67,000 price point for Bitcoin, right? We also have seen the interest rate hike for Japan. There is a chart out there. I've shown it multiple times here on the live stream. I don't have it right now, but there is a chart that shows every time Japan has raised interest rates, Bitcoin has had 6 weeks after that interest rate hike of downward movement, of averaging around 20 to 26%, which a 26% drop from where we are, or just averaging around 20% drop from where we are for Bitcoin, guess where that takes us? If we measure that out right now from where we are, 20% down, 20% down, come on, 22% takes us to $67,000. 67,000. That's right. That's the same price target that I showed you of the previous chart of going to the downside, right? This 67,300, which is the 2024 yearly naked point of control. So there's a very good chance that that happens. We have to see what occurs, right? If we start breaking back above 96, 98, start breaking above 96, 98, we have to get above that 105 area to continue pushing up higher. We start pushing up and we get rejected, or we lose 96,000 after we break it and we come back down, you better be looking for that 67K, because we're heading down like it's too hot to drop, right? So let's see here. Let's go back into the chat. Majority of people are buying silver right now. That ship has sailed. Don't do it. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. What's going on, Baseball King? What's going on, Piazza? What's going on, man? Good to see all of you guys in here, smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Make sure you guys are sharing out the live stream and hitting subscribe here. Don't want to be missing what's happening. Guys, the webinar is free. The webinar is 100% free. If you guys want to join the webinar for free, go to the link in my profile. It's a free trading webinar to sign up. Yes, I have a private trading group that it is a paid for group, right? That is where you get access to my trading course. That is where you get access to all of my trade setups, right? You get access to my Discord, all my signals here, right? Last week, we made $179 before Christmas. We made another $426 on Monday, right? That's just last week. That's over $600, guys. That's over $600 right there, right before Christmas. The group is 149. 149. 2 signals in one group in 1 week made $600. Made $600. Pays for the group more than 6 months out of the year, right? So fantastic trading right there. You get access to all my daily trade setups, right? All my updates. You get access to all the macro charts, right? You get access to all the macro long-term targets that we're looking for. Like I said, we're going to be adding stocks here. We just added an update for gold. We're going to be adding more updates for silver, for Tesla, for NVIDIA, a lot of other stocks like Amazon, Meta, all these different things are all going to be posted there as well. And you get access to the course, of course, right? You get access to the course here, an hour and 36 minutes of education to get you up to speed to start not just trading, but charting, right? Posting things on your chart, being able to read data off the charts, which is hypercritical, so that then you can start trading. Let's see here. How do you buy silver? I'm not buying silver, guys. If I were to get into silver, I told you guys I would be trading it on the futures, right? I would be trading it, but I would not be actually physically buying it right now. 75K, strong support area. 75K was definitely a strong support on April 2025 for Bitcoin. Absolutely, right back down here, right? April 2025, great bottom. But if we continue heading lower, we're going to take out this low. We're going to take out this low. There's no way we just come back and double bottom here. We will most likely be taking out that low and retesting some of this volume and liquidity down here between 67 to 59 for Bitcoin. Silver going to 100, waiting for the bottom to buy, sitting on the sidelines. Silver going to 100, waiting for the bottom to buy, sitting on the sidelines. So yes, silver potentially definitely has a good chance of going to 100, right? We do have some targets here between 82 to 87. There are some bigger targets here around the 133 to look at for silver as well. But Am I buying this now? Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. It just doesn't make any sense. Look at this. Look at this chart, guys. Look at this 3-month chart here. These are 3-month. Every candle here is 3 months long. This is the history of silver from like the 80s, 70s, right? Massive peak in the 70s in 1980. 13 years to find the bottom. Topped in 1980, didn't bottom out until 1993. From 1993, slowly went sideways for about 10 years until 2003, then started to rally from 2003 to 2011, topped out, and from 2011, didn't break even again until 2023. So another 10 plus years before pumping. So am I going to be buying a top here so that then I'm holding an asset that goes down for 10 plus years? Absolutely not. Am I looking for a short opportunity? Absolutely. Yes, I am. Are you using TradingView to do your charting? Yes, Prosper. We're using TradingView to do all of our charting, and then we can trade on any exchange that you want, right? I'm mainly using WEEX. You can join in there and trade there, or you can trade wherever you want. Let's see here. A year from now, we will know what it did. I don't know what you're referring to there. When do you think the market will recover? So 2026 definitely has a very good chance for gold, for Bitcoin to have a nice little recovery to the upside. But like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of different scenarios there. When it comes to trading, can I ask, is it better to trade Bitcoin versus Solana? Bitcoin versus Solana, what's your opinion? My opinion is if you're going to be trading crypto, like day trading it, the best asset to be trading is Bitcoin. It's the most stable. If you're trading any altcoin, the number one thing you need to be aware of is Solana could have an extremely bullish setup on their chart. And you're like, man, I'm going to long Solana, 20x long, baby. Let's go, $1,000. Let's get it. And guess what? Bitcoin has a different chance or a different setup, has a more bearish setup overall. And if they have a more bearish setup and Bitcoin itself starts to pull back, as Bitcoin pulls back, Solana will drop as well. So if Solana or any altcoin has a bullish setup, you're going long on it without looking at the Bitcoin chart, and Bitcoin has a bearish setup and has a retracement, has a pullback, your Solana trade will get invalidated, will get stopped out, will get liquidated, whatever it is, right? And have a pullback no matter how bullish the setup is. So instead of looking at two charts, the altcoin you're trying to trade and the Bitcoin chart to see if they both align as both having bullish setups, then I would just rather trade Bitcoin. Just look at one chart, a lot of less stress. It's way less stressful just looking at one chart than juggling two charts back and forth, especially when they begin to contradict, right? Because wherever Bitcoin goes, the altcoins follow. Now, if you can get a setup where Solana is looking bullish and Bitcoin is looking bullish, yeah, you can take the risk and take the ride on Solana instead of trading Bitcoin. But you have to be juggling both charts to make sure that meanwhile Bitcoin stays bullish, Solana has a chance to continue pumping. The minute Bitcoin starts to get bearish, Solana is going to come pulling back down. So just something to be very, very aware of when it comes to Bitcoin. Why did my camera crash out? Here, give me a second, guys. Give me a second here. Let me try to fix this damn thing. Let's see. Come on. There we go. We're back. We are back. Let's keep going through the chat here. The reason all metals are rising in price is because the dollar is losing value. The dollar has been losing value consistently year over year, decade over decade. This is nothing new, right? This is why Bitcoin has gone the way it has gone, right? Why Bitcoin has had such a strong, fast rise to stardom is because the dollar is losing value. The dollar has lost like 10% of its value this year alone, right? Not to talk about the 80+% of supply that was printed during the pandemic as well, right? In the last from 2020 to around 2024, in those 4 years, 80+% of circulating dollars right now were printed. which is a crazy statistic that people don't pay attention to. So the manipulation of the US dollar currency, right, is massively causing metals to run, right? People are escaping and running away from the dollar. A lot of nations are doing this, whether it's the BRICS nations, right? And they're trying to create their own new reserve currency. They're all trying to find a life raft to figure out how they can preserve their wealth or generate wealth. And they know that holding dollars is no longer that solution. Every single currency in history has gone to zero for this exact same reason, for manipulation and inflation of the currency. This is what happens when a currency is now backed by anything, right? Especially with like when it comes to fiat. Usually before it was just backed by scarcity, right? Things being scarce. Once we started to create fiat currencies, right? Paper money that you can just print, you had to back it with gold, right? In the vaults to represent, hey, this dollar represents X amount of gold in the vault, and you could exchange your dollars for silver or gold right at the banks, right? That used to be called silver notes, right? But then that stopped. They stopped doing that. They stopped doing the conversions. But they said, "Don't worry, we're not converting it anymore." But it is still backed. And then in 1971, they said, "Guess what, guys? We're taking the dollar off the gold standard. Why? Because now they can print it infinitely and not have to keep track of how much gold they actually own or don't own." How much invested in these in the trades? Scott, I trade with $1,000. $1,000. That's my trading account. Between 1,000 to 1,500. That's how much I trade. I keep a small amount. I used to trade with larger amounts in the group, but then obviously not everybody is trading with that same large amount. So I was trading with like $2,000 to $2,500, and I was making $600 profit trade or more, right? Quickly, and people were not making the same. So I reduced how much margin I'm trading with so I can trade with about the same amount as an average dedicated trader does, which is at least $1,000, especially for Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is such a large asset. $1,000 with 20x leverage on Bitcoin, it is a very normal leverage and margin amount that can make you healthy gains between 200 to $400, right? Which is a 20+% trade on a day, right? Which is very doable with Bitcoin's volatility, right? But even if you get 10%, 10% gives you like an easy 100 to $150, depending if you're trading with 1,000 or 150, and then 200, you're making $200+ dollars, 20%, 200 plus. Petra, what's going on, bro? I miss seeing you. Been a while. Yeah, man. I've had a lot of issues with my social medias being taken down. My Instagram just got taken down a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, actually. So now I've had to start a whole new Instagram, and it's just a huge mess, man. What about Render? Let's go take a look at Render. People want to see Render, man. Render has been one of the biggest disappointments when it comes to DePIN and AI, but 2025 has just not been the year for altcoins, right? 2025, statistically speaking, has been a bear market. Even though Bitcoin's made new all-time highs, if we're going to assume, like most people have said, that the 4-year cycle is over, that we're entering a super cycle, that things are different this time, I will agree, because Bitcoin has made new all-time highs multiple times throughout 2025. Meanwhile, altcoins have been getting crushed throughout 2025, continuously making lower lows, lower lows. So altcoins have had zero relief, zero altcoin seasons throughout 2025. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has had major rallies. So if you look at it, it looks like a bear market. It looks like 2025 was a bear market. The only thing that was holding up is Bitcoin, right? And if we're going to assume that the bear markets now for Bitcoin are not going to be that 60+% drops anymore, and we're kind of looking at just 30 to 40% drops like we've been experiencing, right? 36% drop is how much we've had for Bitcoin. Then yeah, we're pretty much been in a bear market. Let's go take a look at Render here, and I'll go back into the chat looking at more questions here. So Render overall, massive downtrend here in the last couple of months, last couple of quarters, right? Massive downtrend. If we continue following this downtrend, right, continue dropping down, our next big target to the downside will be 95 cents. Below that is our gold pocket between 44 to 31, right? Assuming that things are just going to continuously head lower. Now, If we push back up here, even though we're still in a downtrend, right? Don't get overexcited. Our target to the upside here in the short to midterm, if we have some type of relief rally, would be around $2.08. We can rally up to $2.08, still stay within this downtrend, and continue much lower. So don't get overexcited if we see render going to $2. Now, if we can smash through that $2 price point and start getting back into the yearly developing range, which is above the value area low, starts at $2.57. If we can get back into that range, right, our main target for the 2025 year range is around $3.80, which lines up with a gold pocket as well. So that's going to be a big target. Now, if we break out and break above the 2025 yearly range, which is value area high is around $4.78, then we got some historical targets here between $5.57 to around $7.99, let's call it $8, that we could potentially rally to and hit for render. But those are long ways out, very far away from where we're currently sitting at $1.32 for render. Now let's jump back into the chat here, see what other questions we have. What site do you trade crypto on? So I use WEEX. That is the exchange that I've partnered up with and I use to trade. I like WEEX a lot, and that's what I'm trading on. But I've used BitUnix, I've used Blowfin, I've used ZooMax, I've used a lot of different ones. There's a lot of good ones out there. Let's see here. Nice analysis, man. Appreciate that, Payday. Appreciate that. Overall, market's cooked. No bounce from here. Depends. There is definitely a setup for a big bounce for Bitcoin. We discussed this earlier in the show, right? Bitcoin here is setting up. These are weekly candles. We are setting up here for a nice little potential bottom, right around 80,000, creating a higher low than the low from April 2025, and from the low, right, keeping the market structure of creating lower highs, higher lows, which is still bullish. And if we do, we have a potential to run between 96 to 105. That's going to be a key critical area to find out whether we get set up for a bull trap, get rejected, and drop back down to 67, or we fully rotate the 2025 yearly range and run for new all-time highs. Let's jump on over here. Appreciate the hearts, Scott. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes over here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing and hitting sharing out the live with all your friends and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any of my live streams or videos over here on the YouTubes and over here on TikTok. Make sure you guys are filling up those likes, man. Appreciate all of you guys in here. Like I said, guys, we're going to be hosting a free webinar on January 4th. Free trading webinar, right? Trading 101, complete basics, but very powerful tools for anybody that wants to start learning how to trade. The goal is not to just become a trader after the webinar, but the goal is to be able to build out, identify market structure, identify potential targets to the upside and potential targets to the downside on a larger scale, weekly to monthly to quarterly time frame that can help you dollar cost average and just get a better idea of where the market could be going. So you're not buying into the FOMO and you're not buying into all the hype and fear of the market. And you can actually look at data on the chart. And it's not so you can just go and trade it, but so that you can understand and then be like, okay, this makes sense to start dollar cost averaging at this price point. Or, hey, we're all the way up here right now. It doesn't make sense to dollar cost average. I should be taking some risk off, maybe taking some profits, right? And understanding market structure. That is what the webinar is going to be covering. It's not so you can become a day trader overnight after 1 hour, one webinar. It's so that you can just start charting and using these powerful free indicators that TradingView has so that you can start identifying market structure, targets, support, resistance, and being able to identify this information for yourself. Now, yes, I want you guys to join the Crypto Citadel, my trading group, right? And where you can access my full trading course, which is an hour and 36 minutes long. I just finished adding 5 more videos adding another 36 minutes of content so that you guys can learn more and continue to learn more powerful indicators and how to use them and how to incorporate them into a trade and I walk you through a full trade setup and analysis, right? And if you join the Citadel, you're going to be getting all my signals for day trades, all my day trade setups, analysis, long-term macro analysis on all altcoins, silver, gold, stocks of your choice, right? Whatever you want to be trading, I will be making those analysis for you, along with we do a 2-hour live trading session Monday through Thursday where I'm trading personally live. You guys can follow along if you want to take the same trades as I'm taking, or you can take your own trades and we're just free flowing and discussing ideas of different possible trades during that time. And we do that every Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern time to 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you get access to so much in the Crypto Citadel, my private trading indicator, all this stuff, right? That, if you come on over, where is it? Come on over here. You got a full breakdown, right? Daily chart analysis, trade setups, trading course, exclusive indicators, live trading sessions, trading signals, and you can get 50% off right now your first month. I just completely forgot about this, but you can get 50% off your first month with the code CITADEL50. CITADEL50 will get you 50% off your first month to try out the Crypto Citadel. Go ahead and sign up with that if you want to right now and take advantage of that 50% off your first month. Or if you want to try it out and wait, right, you can just go on over to my free webinar, go to my link, click on the free webinar, and sign up here and register RSVP, right? It's only for the first 50 people that show up. That's how large the room is. No more than 50 people can sign up. So you guys start signing up. It is on January 4th, 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's 6 days and 21 days away from today. So make sure you guys are signing up, aka it's going to be next Sunday. Just in case you guys can't do the math, it's going to be next Sunday. So make sure you guys are signing up here and are RSVPing for the free webinar. I'm going to miss the webinar. How can I view it? You have to be live at the webinar to see the webinar. It's not recorded. It's not just for, security purposes. If I start recording them, somebody's going to leak it and then start sending it out everywhere, and it becomes a problem. Hold on. Got to block somebody here. Now, my trading course is recorded, right? An hour and 36 minutes is fully recorded. You get full access to that as you are in the Crypto Citadel, access to my private trading indicator, which I have multiple. I've created multiple private trading indicators. I have one right here that is a scalp trading, gives you buys and sell signals that I'm about to start releasing here for the Citadel members that I've almost finished developing. It's still in beta. It's still, testing some stuff out, but look at this right here. Look at this trade here that we got. All right, we got a long entry right around 88,000 on Monday, the 22nd. We got a long signal with 3 TPs to the upside, TP1 being at 89,000, TP3 being at 89,700. All 3 TPs hit and more before pulling back, guys. And this is one of the buy signals, right? Sell signals, I should say long signals, that this indicator is going to be producing. It's going to produce longs and shorts, obviously, whatever the best trade at the moment is. And these are the kind of things that you're going to be getting access to in the Crypto Citadel. Meanwhile, you're a member in there. So I'm a programmer by nature on my own, right? I went and studied software engineering back in college, so I know how to make these indicators. And I am incorporating my trading strategies into automated systems like this that can identify trades so that they can help people. It's not so you can replace the education, but it's a supplement to the education, right? As you are learning and going through the trading course and slowly starting to learn how to become a profitable trader, you can also follow along with these signals to help you on that journey. So appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Appreciate all of you guys smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. and RSVPing for the free webinar and signing up for the Crypto Citadel. I see people in the background right now signing up. Use the code Citadel50 to get 50% off your first month. And make sure you guys are RSVPing for the free webinar as well. So appreciate everybody doing that right now. Guys, I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains, and I'll see you in the Crypto Citadel. See ya.